Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Judge Teresa Stanley speaking. I'm going to repeat that every time I speak, and I'm going to ask that each of you identify yourselves each time you speak as well. That way the court reporter will know, the hearing reporter will know exactly who's speaking, and anybody who's listening in by audio only will also have the identity of the speaker. I'm going to ask that you please mute your microphones when you're not talking. Otherwise, it gives a lot of feedback. And for Ms. Kahali and Mr. Suleiman, or Mr. Cook, sorry, that would be the little microphone icon on the Webex screen that you just click on that to turn it on and off. This hearing is being live streamed. And so anything that you share on your screen is going to show. And for this reason, we ask that you not add chat messages or use the chat feature. In the event that any participant has technical errors or gets disconnected, we'll take a brief recess to aid that person in reconnecting. And the instructions for reconnecting are included in your invitation to this meeting. Today, as you heard in roll call, I have Judge Michael Geary and Judge Josh Aldrich with me. The panel, although I'm the lead on this particular hearing, we will meet after we hear all the testimony and close the record, and we will equally deliberate and decide the issue. The Office of Tax Appeals is independent of any agency, including the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. We already did roll calls, so I'm going to go ahead and go on the record so that we can clarify the issues and the exhibits and the witnesses that we have today. So we're on the record in the appeal of Fine Art Group, LLC, case number 19035465. The date is August 26, 2020, and the time is 2:32. This hearing was scheduled for Sacramento, California, but it's being conducted entirely electronically. I'm Judge Teresa Stanley, and my fellow panel members are Judges Michael Geary and Josh Aldrich. I'm going to ask that the parties please identify themselves for the record this time, starting with Ms. Kahali. And Ms. Kahali, you will need to unmute your microphone each time you speak.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Oh, you muted it again. Sorry, Ms. Kahali.
Excuse me? How about now?
Now it's good.
Okay. Okay. My objection to
excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm just asking right now that you just identify yourself for the record and who you represent,
okay.
Please.
This is Sima Kahali. I'm representing Fine Art Group on this audit.
Okay, and you have Mr. Cook with you. Mr. Cook, can you identify yourself for the record and tell us in what capacity you are testifying today?
Yes, good afternoon. This is Mr. Cook, and I'm representing Fine Art.
Okay, and for the department, can you identify yourselves, please?
Randy Suazo, hearing representative.
Jason Parker, hearing representative. Christopher Brooks, Staff Counsel.
Okay, thank you. This is Judge Stanley again. Just to restate the issue in this appeal is whether any adjustment is warranted to the audited understatement of sales tax for the liability period of July 1st, 2011 through March 31st, 2014. Do you agree, Ms. Kahali?
Yes.
And do you agree, Mr. Suazo?
Yes.
Okay, I'm assuming that Mr. Suazo, you're going to be my first point of contact for purposes of this hearing. Is that correct?
For CDTFA, yes.
Okay. With respect to the exhibits in this case, we agreed at the pre-hearing conference that appellant's exhibits 1 through 6 will be entered into evidence without I'm sorry, I have to restate that. Exhibits 1, 2, 5, and 6 did not have any objection, and they will be entered into evidence. Exhibits 3 and 4. Okay, I'm going to pause for a second because I'm not sure if we have Ms. Kahali here anymore. I see a screen icon. Are you there, Ms. Kahali? Okay, I'm going to take a 5-minute recess so that we can see if we can get whatever technical issues Ms. Kahali has corrected. So we'll recess for 5 minutes.
You hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Ms. Kahali. We went off the record and recessed for 5 minutes to wait for you to come back to us, so we wait till everybody reconnects. Okay, this is Judge Stanley speaking again. We are going back on the record in the matter of appeal of Fine Art Group LLC. We were just going to discuss the exhibits. Appellant, at the pre-hearing conference, there was no objection to appellant's exhibits 1, 2, 5, and 6, and those will be admitted into evidence. There was an objection to exhibits 3 and 4, and I would like to ask CDTFA if that objection still stands, and if so, to please explain what the objection is and why.
The objection still stands insofar as we're not accepting it at face value because we haven't been able to verify whether or not what was signed was accurate. And on the exhibit 4, which is the Mexican tax identification card, that's actually not even written to the person who's buying the merchandise from the taxpayer, from the appellant. So, and then there's other issues with that as well. So that's the two objections that we're trying to do, because we haven't been able to, we weren't involved in the process to obtain the BOE 52 forms, which we should have been according to the audit manual. And when we try to verify that it was accurate, we were only able to verify one of them, not both of them, not the other two.
So are you saying that out of the 3 pages, I'm sorry, this is Judge Stanley again. Out of the 3 pages in Exhibit 3, is there one page to which you do not object?
The one that was already verified, and we allowed it in the audit for to reduce the assessment. We're not objecting to that one.
Okay. Ms. Kahali, do you have a response to the objection?
I already submitted the phone number. The phone number is there for that merchant. When the merchant comes and brings the resale certificate, generally they are the representative of the company. And the resale certificate from Mexico was from him, not from him personally, it was from the company. It's some sort of design company. And you have the phone number there. You could have called him and verify it. And I gave in Exhibit 1 or Exhibit A, the phone number there is available to talk. And the other one that you are claiming that you were not able to verify, he can be called again. And he said he's going to make himself available today to be called. The Canadian one. These are 2 main issues that's open on those areas. One is from Canada and one is from Mexico.
Did you, this is Judge Stanley. Ms. Kahali, did you say that one or more of them are available to testify today?
Yes.
Okay, so just to be clear, can you give us their names?
The person that was from Canada, I have to open my, I cannot. From Mexico is Luis. Mr. Cook, do you remember his last name?
Louis Labradore.
And I'm going to open my worksheet to see
Perhaps I can help, Ms. Kahali. This is
Yeah,
Judge
I found
Stanley.
that one too. It's
Yeah.
Igor Near.
Okay.
IGOR SHNIER. And the
Okay.
phone number is 2113 213 798 7606.
Did you provide them with a connection to either dial into this meeting via phone call or in person?
My assumption was, according to pre-hearing, you would call him today and talk to them. We sent email to the Mexican merchant to be waiting for your call today, and we called Igor Schneider to be available to be called, because that was the instruction from pre-hearing.
I am going to take 1 minute here and see how it's best to get them on here so that we can get their testimony.
Can
I'm sorry.
call.
Excuse me. I have to say, this is unexpected and somewhat surprising. I mean, there was no instruction to us at all that we were going to be involving our clients in a hearing like this with video cameras and a judge, and So I think we need to, take a step back here, and I need to be able to confer with SEMA. I mean, I'm not so sure that this is the instructions that we have were very specific about. It's just that their phone numbers should be made available so that somebody from the organization could call them and verify. And that was the only thing that they were told. They agreed. They were very gracious about it. They were absolutely able to give their testimony. But to say that they're going to be thrust on camera with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people and 2 judges, I just think it's we need to speak with them before we're happy to do that, but we need to speak with them and let them know ahead of time.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. This is Judge Stanley. I'm sorry that there was a miscommunication if there was. We had talked at the pre-hearing conference about having them testify at this hearing. And in order to do that, they don't have to be here on camera, but we do have a call-in number where we can take and hear their testimony during this process, during the hearing itself, so that they can be under oath and just say yes or no, did I receive artwork out of state? Just say the same thing to back up their declarations. So
Okay, how we can bring them online now, on the meeting now? Should I call them and give them a phone number to call you or to call to the meeting?
yes,
I can do that.
yes, I'm gonna let me go in and get that phone number. They're going to need they're both outside of the United States, you said, right?
One of them is. The other one is Mexico City. I'm not sure where in Mexico City. He's a merchant. He might not be in United States.
Okay. The call-in number for outside of the U.S. is 1-408-418-8888. 9388. And then they'll need an access code.
Okay, what is it?
Okay. I'm not going to give it out like I just did with the phone
I
number.
have it in my email. Is this the one, the same that?
Exactly. That's exactly. If you give them
Okay.
that meeting number and meeting password,
I
then
can
they
pull
can
it from
call
there.
in. Then we
Can
can
pull it
call
from.
in.
Okay. But for the gentleman in Mexico, I would suggest Mr. Cook attempt to reach him if it's possible.
And does Mr. Cook have the call-in information too?
I believe so. He has to testify on that. Mr. Cook, have you heard me?
This is Mr. Cook. Yes, I heard you. Let me see if I have the information. I have the calling phone number. Yes, I do have that. And I have the meeting number. Is that what he's going to have to use? How do I do this? How do I'm sorry, I'm not clear as to what
Are you asking, do you see in your email invite, Mr. Cook, where the code, the meeting phone numbers, the meeting code and the meeting password are?
I see the meeting number.
Okay. So what I would propose is that we take another 5-minute break and allow either Ms. Kahali or Mr. Cook or both to contact the two people that you would like to have testify, and we can get them in here and move forward with the hearing.
Go ahead.
Can I talk? Before we leave, I have a question because it was disconnected. I was supposed to give my brief at the beginning, which is it going to be after this phone call, or is going to be right now, or I pass my options?
No, it's going to be afterwards. I mean, it's going to be when we're going to go off the record, and when we come back on the record, you can do that.
Okay.
What I would suggest right now, instead of trying to give out complicated codes and phone numbers, is if you could have your witnesses contact Claudia Lopez of our Office of Tax Appeals. She can help them to connect, and we'll still go off the record and recess for 5 minutes so that you can contact Claudia and make sure she's got all the appropriate phone numbers. And then we can go back on the record while Ms. Lopez is trying to contact them, and we can begin with opening statements.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so 5-minute recess.
So, this is Mr. Cook. I just have a question. So what is so clear is the expectation? So
Mr. Cook?
Yeah.
Mr. Cook, can you move closer to your microphone? You're coming in and out.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. My question is, just so I know the expectation, so when I speak to my client, I can let them know what to expect. So they're to be calling in to Claudia, and then Claudia will be patching them through to you.
She will work on getting them connected to this meeting so that they can testify.
Okay, and my question is, when you say connect to this meeting, is it an on-camera meeting with all the participants, or is it just going to be one person talking to them off camera?
There is the opportunity for participants to call in and not be on video, so they don't need video capability or to have any kind of app on their device or even have a device other than a phone. So Ms. Lopez can help them with that.
Okay, and then my question still remains, is it one person that's going to be speaking to them and directing questions to them, or the entire family?
This is Judge Stanley. If I heard you correctly, Mr. Cook, you were asking if one person is going to ask them questions. What I would do would be to have Ms. Kahali as your representative. Just ask them after they're sworn in to testify to the contents of the declarations. So
Okay.
it should be very brief.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you so much, Judge.
Okay, we'll go on our 5-minute recess now.
Okay.
This is Judge Stanley. Can everybody please return to the meeting? Okay. Thank you. Ms. Alonso, are you ready to proceed? Thank you. Okay, so the Office of Tax Appeals staff is attempting to connect with the witnesses so that they can testify here today, but we're going to proceed with the hearing in the meantime. We had been talking about exhibits 3 and 4, and we have an objection to that, to those. And I will say I'm going to admit them whether or not the witnesses testify based on the OTA's rules for tax appeals, section 30420C. The declarations are signed under penalty of perjury. They are on a form used by the department, and they were presented with the appellant's opening brief. So they're going to be admitted into evidence, and hopefully we can get them verified by at least some of the witnesses. Moving on, we also appellant also submitted exhibits 7, 8, and 9 by the deadline in the pre-hearing conference minutes and orders. Mr. Suazo, is there any objection to exhibits 7 through 9?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, this is Judge Stanley. Those appellant's exhibits 1 through 9 then will be admitted. And we had discussed respondents' exhibits A through F, which will also be admitted into evidence with no objection. Did we lose Ms. Kahali again? Oh, no, there she is. Sorry, there's so many people on my screen.
Hi.
This is Judge Stanley and Ms. Kahali. I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and make your opening statement. You had requested 5 minutes, and you can proceed when you're ready. Ms. Kahali, this is Judge Stanley. You're on mute. You need to unmute your microphone.
Am I hearing you? Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
I'm going to make it quick because I'm not sure about this equipment that would cooperate with my statement, the long that I have. I just want to tell that the auditor came in, and after reviewing mock tests of 5 quarters and calculate the error. He looked at total sales for 5 quarters, which means the error comes up to contain 2 categories. One, California sales that was not charged tax, and the other one, the out-of-state sales that did not have shipping document. He put them in one bucket and project them only over the out-of-state sales. Basically, he deviated from recommended method in chapter 3 and testing, projection, and the other stuff. He changed the denominator to a smaller amount. When he changed the total sales from denominator to only interstate commerce, and the same error stood in the testing, basically he increased the percentage of projection. He could do two things. He could either project them over the reported amount on each category, or easier, put both of them together as he tests both of them from total sales. The ratio would be way lower. It would be half of this. But the fact that an incumbent informant was involved, they tried to maximize the assessment. That's the whole problem. That's the whole issue that I have with the type of the projection and calculation of the projection. And can you hear me? I don't hear myself.
This is Mr. Cook. I think we lost Judge Stanley.
This is Judge Gary. It does appear as though there she is. She's back.
I'm back. But Ms. Kahali, this is Judge Stanley. I got bumped off my network, my Wi-Fi. So I got the first couple of minutes of what you said, and if you were still talking, everything froze on me. So you're on mute, Ms. Kahali. So to continue speaking, please unmute your microphone.
Am I okay now? Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect, thank you.
Okay, how far have you heard me?
You had stated that there are two main categories that the CDTFA auditor was calling understated. So you mentioned the two categories, and I got that far at least.
They got two categories, and they bumped both of them in one category. Do you hear me now?
Yes.
They bumped both of them in interstate commerce, and they changed the denominator on the fraction in calculating the percentage of error. Obviously, if the total sales was the denominator as it's supposed to be, the percentage of error could be way lower. By lowering the denominator, they increase the projection. I'm not sure if you are hearing me.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Okay. Then if they do that, since they did it, they could either separate them and project them separately, or lump them together and use the original denominator, which is total sales, according to the audit manual. Since the informant was involved, they tried to maximize their assessment. And the assessment has way overstated. They have chosen 5. What happened in the past, and they bring him somehow those error in the projection. They cannot do that. Someone tell me why they are allowed to do that. No, since for past 4 years, I'm trying to make someone to listen to me, go back and look at what they did, and no one is trying to do correctly. Everyone is approving them. What type of a system? I don't know. I don't understand why the system has changed so bad that they can do to the taxpayer whatever they want. I let you to judge it. 3 judges is enough for me. to confirm it or reject it. I leave it on you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move on to testimony, and I understand that Mr. Cook is here today to testify. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Cook, to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You have to answer yes or no.
Yeah. Sorry, I was getting my mic ready. Sorry about that. Yes, this is Mr. Cook. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if Ms. Kahali wants to ask you questions or if you would just like to testify in the narrative, whichever way you're comfortable, Mr. Cook, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kahali, do you want to ask me any particular questions or?
I would suggest you tell them what is the pattern of your business, which they're receiving the money and shipment and money hitting the account is totally different time, and they can be you were doing your business. You tell them.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe one of the best things I can do today in terms of testimony is to speak to the process, right? The our business process. Can everybody hear me? Is the mic?
Mr. Suleiman, this is Judge Stanley. I'm going to ask you to pause for a second because we've now lost one of our CDTFA representatives. So, but your voice this time is coming in very clearly. So when we get Mr. Suazo back, you'll be good to go.
Okay, great.
Okay, this is Judge Stanley. I am sorry to say to everybody that due to the continued technical difficulties, we're going to need to postpone this hearing. We can't do it without representation from both sides, and we've lost one of our representatives from the department. So we can reschedule this, and then we would have the opportunity also to make sure that the witnesses are available and have the proper information to call in. You'll be contacted by the Office of Tax Appeals within 5 days to figure out the best time to reschedule this. I want to thank you for your participation thus far, and I'm sorry, but we just need to call it a day.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you, Judge Stanley.
Thank you.